Now, I really want Star Trek to do a series like Marvel's What If. In its fifth and final season on Paramount Plus, Star Trek Lower Decks took on the multiverse, giving Star Trek the opportunity to do a show like Marvel's What If. As Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 came to a close, Captain Carol Freeman, Don Lewis, and the crew of the USS Cerritos saved Star Trek's entire Prime universe by stabilizing a massive wormhole to various quantum realities. Starfleet then moved Starbase 80 to the wormhole's entrance and put Captain Freeman in charge of the missions sent to investigate these realities. While Star Trek has no plans for any Lower Decks spin-offs, the creation of a portal to the multiverse gives the franchise the opportunity to do its own version of Marvel's What If. With nearly 60 years of history, Star Trek has hundreds of characters and storylines to explore. Based on the appearance of Star Trek legacy characters like T'Pol, Jolene Blalock, and Curzon, Fred Tatasciore in Star Trek Lower Decks' penultimate episode, some of the quantum universes occur at different points in the Star Trek timeline. This means that characters from any century could pop up in multiverse stories. Lower Decks' series finale means Star Trek should do its own version of Marvel's What If. With the new portal to the multiverse, the Star Trek Lower Decks series finale provides the perfect setup for a show like Marvel's What If. A show like this could be framed with Captain Freeman overseeing missions through the wormhole, or it could simply drop in on various universes. Star Trek has already established several universes, including the Mirror Universe and the Kelvin Universe, and hinted at many others. A What If style show would also allow Star Trek to dive into completely new universes and potentially explore things that Trek fans have long been asking for. For example, Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Episode 9, Fisher Quest, showed Captain William Boimler, Jack Quaid, and his crew of interdimensional castaways, comprised of iconic Star Trek legacy characters. Among the Anaximander's crew were Garak, Andrew Robinson, and an emergency medical hologram of Dr. Bashir, Alexander Siddig, who lived as a happily married couple. Some Trek fans have been clamoring for Garak and Bashir to be a couple since Star Trek Deep Space Nine aired, and Andrew Robinson himself has even spoken in support of the idea. A What If style Star Trek show would allow the franchise to continue exploring stories like this without contradicting established canon. Star Trek Lower Decks has already proven how much fun the franchise can have with the multiverse, particularly in an animated series. With animation, any Trek actors who wanted it could return to reprise their roles regardless of their age, while new voice actors could be brought in to voice characters whose actors have passed away. Between Lower Decks and Star Trek, Prodigy Star Trek's animators have produced some truly spectacular animation, and the What If style show would allow for even more visual experimentation. With a universe as vast as Star Trek's, the possibilities are truly endless. A Star Trek multiverse show could have an entirely purple episode set in the purple universe introduced in Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Episode 7, Fully Dilated. It could show a universe where Spock, Leonard Nimoy, chose to attend the Vulcan Science Academy rather than join Starfleet. Or a universe where Q, John D. Lanky, is in command of the USS Enterprise D, and Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, is his omnipotent rival. With its amazing series finale, Star Trek Lower Decks truly opened up a whole new multiverse of possibilities for the Star Trek franchise. The Marvel Cinematic Universe's What If series introduced a bold and creative approach to storytelling by exploring alternate realities, asking the tantalizing question, what if things had happened differently? The show took established characters and narratives and turned them on their heads, offering fans a glimpse of unexpected and often bizarre outcomes. Watching the series unfold, I couldn't help but think, what if Star Trek did something like this? The Star Trek franchise has always been fertile ground for speculative storytelling. At its core, it is a science fiction series that frequently explores what-if scenarios, whether through time travel, parallel universes, or alternate dimensions. From classic episodes like Mirror, Mirror, where the crew of the USS Enterprise encounters their evil doppelgangers, to the entire Star Trek The Next Generation episode Yesterday's Enterprise, in which the return of a long-lost starship radically alters the timeline, the franchise has often dipped its toes into the realm of alternate realities. But with a dedicated what-if style series, Star Trek could go even further, embracing the full potential of this kind of speculative narrative in a more ambitious and dedicated way. Infinite diversity, infinite realities. One of Star Trek's most well-known philosophies is infinite diversity in infinite combinations, IDIC, celebrating the variety of life forms, cultures, and experiences in the galaxy. A What If-inspired Star Trek series could embody this mantra by showing fans just how many alternate versions of the Trek universe could exist. Imagine an anthology-style show where each episode explores a different, radically altered reality, where core Star Trek events unfolded in unexpected ways. For example, what if the Borg had successfully assimilated Earth? In this timeline, Captain Picard never escapes the clutches of the Borg Queen, and the Federation falls under the oppressive control of the cybernetic collective. Starfleet becomes a resistance movement, battling against impossible odds to reclaim their lost homeworld. The once stalwart ships of the fleet now operate from the shadows, with cloaking technology stolen from the Romulans and guerrilla tactics adopted from the Maquis. Alternatively, consider an episode where Captain James T. Kirk doesn't survive his encounter with Khan Noonien Singh in The Wrath of Khan. Spock is thrust into command of the Enterprise, forever changed by the loss of his closest friend. This darker timeline could show us a Federation on the brink of militarization, where the shadow of Khan's warlords looms over every Starfleet decision, and Spock's cold logic is pitted against the emotional needs of a grieving crew. A nexus of opportunities, the possibilities for a Star Trek What If series would be limitless, drawing from every era of the franchise. An episode could explore what if Voyager never made it back to the Alpha Quadrant? What if instead of being stranded in the Delta Quadrant, the crew encounters a wormhole that catapults them into a completely uncharted part of the universe, where even the Borg are a distant myth? The show could delve into the ethical dilemmas that arise as Janeway's crew tries to rebuild their lives in an alien galaxy without any hope of returning home. Or how about an exploration of the Dominion War, but with the twist that the Dominion wins? The Alpha Quadrant becomes a wasteland of servitude, and the Federation crumbles under the rule of the Founders. We could witness resistance movements spearheaded by formerly complacent planets like Batazed, or a defiant Sisko leading a rebellion against an invincible Jem'Hadar fleet. Another idea could be exploring a universe where the Vulcans chose not to initiate first contact with humans. The Earth that we see in Star Trek is one shaped by centuries of interstellar cooperation, but what would the Federation look like without Vulcan rationality guiding its development? Humanity may have reached the stars through more violent or exploitative means, creating an empire that mirrors those of the Klingons or Romulans, bent on domination rather than peace. New life, new civilizations, new stories. A What If? Star Trek series would also allow for greater character exploration and development. Alternate realities could reveal unexpected sides to familiar characters, showing us who they might become in different circumstances. For instance, what if Michael Burnham had never been raised on Vulcan by Sarek and Amanda? Would she still be the passionate, self-assured officer we know, or would her career have taken a radically different path without the influence of Vulcan discipline? This format could also explore what if the Federation had been founded by species other than humans. What if the Andorians had been the driving force behind the creation of the Federation, leading to a more martial and aggressive alliance? Or what if Earth had become part of a